Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, live in studio. Town manager Tom Lynch. Tom, good morning.
Good morning. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. How about you?
Well, as Tom Brady likes to say, it's awesome. And it was just, it was entertaining, but clearly a nerve-wracking game to sit through. And your emotions went up and down. But they were last year's Super Bowl champs. You expected a good game, and our team. I think what I admire about the Patriots and the organization is that they can take all the distractions they had during the week and all of the issues that come up and put those aside to focus on what they have to do at hand. And I think the other thing that, as we could all observe, through the game as different things happen, as someone gets injured or a play isn't working, they're able to adjust. They're able to sit down and figure it out. And there's a lesson for us, as a manager, we're constantly looking at how to deal with various issues and what comes up and how you, deal with something. It really goes according to plan. You think you have it mapped out, you try to cover all the bases, but there'll be issues that you just didn't anticipate, and that's where you have to not just you want to stay the course, but you also want to take in those new factors and figure out what worked and what didn't work, and keep moving forward. But they're just a wonderful organization, a winning organization, and I find it a little interesting how people outside of New England seem to hate the Patriots. And is it that your success? They hate success. I like success. I want to be successful.
Well, I think they see a winning team. They see the partnership between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and really how well that relationship works. And they think, well, they can't be that good just because they're that good. But I think they are that good. So.
And they proved it last night.
They
so
certainly
that was really something. And it was just. Texting various people, and there were a lot of different reactions out there.
Absolutely. So. Well, we have that picture I wanted to share. Of course, there's the big 15,000 cubic yards of snow that's out in Calmus Beach, and someone went there and did a nice Patriots logo in there, and there you are on top of that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know how well viewers can see that, but as you drove into Calmus, you had what we were calling Mount Calmus, because you had just these mounds of snow that we had cleared from Main Street so that you could economically, open up the street for our merchants. And then down on the side toward the bathhouse and the snack bar there are actually on the right-hand side stairs cut in, so you could walk up the stairs. They were all multicolored. Of course, you had the Elvis logo there of the Patriots, and then New England Patriots written into. Someone, spent a lot of time up there, and having shoveled a lot of snow myself over the past few days, they really carved it out, and it was just kind of one of those surprises. I had an old high school classmate that I was driving around while I was doing an inspection also of the roads in the town, and we suddenly came upon that, so they snapped that photo, and it was just
very cool.
Yeah, it's like I was given the victory sign before I knew we were going to win. So
exactly. Well, look at that. Now we can share the picture and say congratulations to the New England Patriots. Of course, we're getting a little more snow out there this morning, a little slippery on the way into work.
Well, we're relying on the forecast that says it's going to go into the 40s and turn to rain. And we did pre-treating of the roads yesterday and early this morning, and I'm sure the plows will be out there shortly as the accumulation goes up, but it should be minimal here on the Cape. But that was one of the problems that we experienced in Juneau, is that they kept predicting 6 to 12 inches here on the Cape, and normally our contractors, our subcontractors, can handle that size snow. When it became something different and we had to adjust through the course of the day, they were spot on with the winds. I mean, no question. We had the 60-mile sustained winds, and that caused the whiteout conditions. So that changed the way we had to attack the storm from the way we normally do. We'll be looking at that over the course of the next few days. We'll be talking to the state about how they allocated their resources on the state roads. Well, again, we had to adjust to that when they needed to pull their resources off the state roads and the airport rotary. We ended up with a lot of cars stopped at the Rotary, stuck in the Rotary. Had the chief, as I think he reported on Barnstable This Morning, towed over 100 cars. Very unusual for us to do that in any storm. But we had to clear those roads for and keep the mains open to the hospital. So we'll be looking at, and I've already spoken to some councilors about the whole driving ban and how you actually enforce that. And human nature is such, we almost like to get out in those storms.
Exactly.
Try to control some of that, and you don't know who are the essential personnel that have to be out there to get around too. So we'll be looking at all of that, and then how we responded to the secondary roads, and how we can better predict storms in the future. So.
Absolutely. Really a large amount of snow falling in a short period of time, lots of windy conditions, so many factors at play when it comes to it. And I have to say, so much work out there on the roads last week, and it's not over yet.
I took 2 days of trying to shovel a path down to the road for the mailman. And I measured it, and it was still between 22 and 24 inches. And it's a heavy snow that we're working on. Multiply that times, almost 1,800 roads, and you can see the magnitude of the problem. A smaller truck start down a road and then end up with a snowbank in front of them. So it was, we tried to, use our staff, wisely, and I just thank DPW for being out there and doing all the work that they did, and a tremendous effort. And they got a little bit of rest yesterday, and we'll see they're certainly ready to go today. So.
Great. So blizzards and Super Bowl wins, and there's still business to be done at Town Hall.
Last week we were here and met with staff on budgets. We're beginning to do the decision packages, as we call them, those areas where the police department and all of our departments come in and talk to us about needs that they might have. We met with staff on a couple of departments last week. We'll be working today to try to begin to shape a little more the capital improvement plan, because that budget will need to begin to go to print in a few weeks. And then it's also a busy week with the operating budget decision packages that I mentioned before. The council meeting, of course, on Thursday will be covering an important item for folks down in Lowell and that love baseball. There's a large property behind the Lowell Park that is a town-owned property that the Barnstable Land Trust is going to be purchasing. There's some public monies going into that. There's also the ability for the town to buy a buffer all around the ball field. Over the years, the field has actually encroached onto some of the Lowell family properties. So this will enable us to put those properties into town ownership, and we'll be participating on that. So the plan that I believe the council president has worked out is they'll make the presentations at this meeting so that there can be, and if there are questions from councilors over the course of the next 2 weeks, then that can be dealt with at the next meeting in February. So
great.
We're also getting ready for the foundation budget legislative hearing that's going to be held on Saturday from 11 to 1 at the DY High School on Station Ave. And that's a legislative committee that's coming down. So we put together a meeting with our legislators last Friday. School department was there, and our finance department. Of course, Mark Ells and I participated, and Senator Wolf was there, Representative Mantle, Representative Vieira, and Representative Whalen. And we talked about what we were going to say, where we thought that might go, and it was a very productive discussion. And I know that the legislators appreciated it as much as we did, because we get a sense of what the legislative committee might be thinking, what they're looking for in various testimony. We told them where we were coming from. We're going to try to do more of that with our legislative delegation. We've always had a good working relationship with them. I think they thoroughly enjoyed digging into an issue like that and hearing, how Barnstable and other Cape towns also might be impacted by this legislative action and ways that we could assist with them. So that was a very profitable meeting informational meeting and I neglect to say that we had, several councilors there also, and Council President Jessica Rapkassetti was very involved and, working with us on that. So it's good when you can bring your team together and try to address an issue like that. So.
That's right. Well, Tom, thank you so much as always for coming in. I know a busy week ahead, and but certainly the good news of the Patriots will, I think, keep us buoyant for several days to come.
Just gives you a good feeling. You just, I want to go back on that snowbank.
Exactly. All right. Well, Tom Lynch, of course, is our town manager here in the town of Barnstable. Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Mary Chkowski, is next on Barnstable This Morning.